In China they know it, in Germany they know it, in Africa they know it, in South America they know it. If you look in the old books, I've seen it in Aristotle, 2,000 years old, 2,500 years old, there it is, there's the phrase. It's a zip file that can't be trumped by nothing. It's quantum physics in action. And it is, you are what you eat. You are what you eat, in my experience, totally is blowing my mind, totally, completely. I can't even believe it. I'm really blown away by it. In the Essene Gospel of Peace, it says this: once the first law is broken, you are what you eat, then we get the 10 Commandments. Once the 10 Commandments are broken, then we get the 5,000 laws. Once the 5,000 laws are broken, then we get the mess we have today. I mean, it's like, is this funny what's going on? I see like little bits of the news. I don't ever watch the news because it's really the old. But it's the same old nonsense like shock, destruction, death, pain, fire, hate, greed, war. So I had to turn that off, but occasionally little blips filter through. Lawmakers today are deciding this. Lawmakers, law. We don't need any more laws. Do we have enough laws? I think the 10 Commandments, that's enough. We got 10, that's good. We can work with that. We can play around with that. But it all goes back to this food law, that you are what you eat. And if we eat food that is noble, that is based on the ideals of entire civilizations, that is grown with love, picked with love, delivered with love, prepared with love, and eaten with love, then we got something to work with. We really have something to work with. And that's what I do every day. I'm retarded, a raw-tarded. I'm not kidding. It's like I start cutting broccoli. I'm like, why am I doing this? I'll just eat it. Right? You know, I get the cutting board out and I start cutting this and I'm like, tomato, broccoli, avocado, and then I'm going to mix a salad up and I say, forget about it about halfway through. I don't even make it halfway through. And I just take the broccoli, I take a little piece of the tomato, and I dip it in the avocado and I eat it. Who's with me on this? Okay. Making things easier on all of us. That's too hard for me even today. I'm so busy, I'm running out the door at 4:44 a.m. What's going to work in that situation? The blender. The blender. You take all that stuff, you throw it in a blender, and you run out the door. And what we're doing is we're restoring to nobility a concept that we're all familiar with, which is the protein shake. Instead of that, whatever, that weight gainer, super muscle mass fuel, protein, lean, mean machine, whey, whatever that is. Whey protein was invented in the 1960s. Read Twinkie Deconstructed. Whole chapter on it. Same with high fructose corn syrup, was invented in the 1960s. Read Twinkie Deconstructed. It's in there. Instead of that, we take that distorted form of food, we remove that, and we go, oh, let's just take the most powerful foods ever. Marine phytoplankton, maca, spirulina, blue-green algae, goji berry, cacao bean. We'll take our coconut water, we throw that in there. We take our blueberries, our raspberries, and we go... Yeah. And you know what? Here's what happens. That's doable. Everyone can do that. That's what's amazing about this. The superfood revolution comes down to that one blended thing in the morning. And people can do that. And people say, no, I got to have my coffee. How many people here won't admit they drink coffee? Ooh. How many people here brush their teeth? Okay, now if you can brush your teeth, you can do just about everything. By the way, that wasn't everybody. That's a little frightening. If you can brush your teeth, you can do just about anything. Here's an example of that. You ever come home late at night? I know there's going to be somebody who's going to say yes, but you're really saying no, but you're really saying yes. And that is, you come home at night, you've had a few too many of you know what, you go pass out on the bed, palms up, and then you go, I didn't brush my teeth. Then you actually get back up, you go, you brush your teeth, then you go back to bed. How many people have ever done that? If you can do that, you can do anything I'm saying. You can be literally an immortal at this point. Because that superfood smoothie is easy to make up in the morning. And even if you're doing coffee, guess what you use instead of the coconut water? That's right. You use the coffee. And here's what it is. It's called a mocha. It's a superhero mocha. You take the cordyceps. You want a little recipe? Yeah, because this one changes everything. Okay, here's how it works. You take it. I'm not endorsing coffee. I mean, when you talk about like addictions, it's like, I can get rid of that, I don't want that, I get this. But when it comes to coffee, people are like, you ain't taking that one. That one is staying, no matter what. That's the last thing to go. Here's what you do. You convert it over to a mocha. So you have, what you do is you take your blender. How many people have a blender? Let's say you don't have a blender, you can do, look, that was almost everybody. That's amazing. Let's say you don't have a blender. You can do what I did. I remember driving through Arkansas on our way to Fayetteville, and we're like, we need a blender. I'm not kidding. We're like looking over here. We look over there. There's a garage sale. There's a blender. It was $5. We was like, pull over the car. We're in a van. We jump out of the van. We give the dude $5. We grab the blender. We jump in the van and drive off. The whole thing instantly manifested in less than 5 minutes. That's how lucky we are. You should have seen in the old days in Mexico the way they had to use molinillos and all kinds of stuff to do hand blending. It was like this. That's how they had to do it back in the old days. That's how chocolate drinks were made. We're okay now. So you take your blender, you put your cacao in there, you put your cordyceps. Cordyceps balances out the acidity of coffee perfectly. Medicinal mushrooms, great herbal formulas of the world. You take a little bit of your maca, you throw that in there. You take a little bit of honey or agave or something that really works for you as a sweetener. I like honey. I'm a beekeeper. So you started keeping bees, man, I'm telling you, that's amazing. When you lift the thing off the hive, and you're like, whoa, there's a million bees in there. Because sometimes I get a little cocky and I'm in the middle of the bees and I just pull the top off. And I'm like, oh no. Because they're like, it's like, because you think there's not much going on in there, but as soon as you pull that thing off, there's a lot going on in there. And it's all, what's interesting about bees, all that stuff, it's all done in complete darkness. I didn't even get that. I'm like, wait a second, bees are flying around doing all that, and they come back in the hive and they come back into complete darkness. So you put a little bit of that honey in there. Okay? So you have a little cacao, little goji berry, little maca, little cordyceps, little honey. Then you take your coffee. So this is all in the dried blenders, dried stuff in the blender. You make your coffee, you pour it right in the blender, and if you have one of those osterizers where you have like liquefied, what was it? It's like frappe, blend, mix, stir, liquefied, and go and then you got yourself a hot mocha. And you start your morning off with that. That changes everything. And that's so easy, right? Because what we're doing is we're removing all the barriers, psychological barriers. We're now creating options at all levels, no matter where you are. Is it easy to keep a bag of goji berries in your backpack? In your purse? You bet. I carry cacao beans with me everywhere. And the reason why I started doing that is because I'd be on planes and people say, what do you do? And I say, I feed people chocolate, raw chocolate, original chocolate. You ever heard of cacao? And they'd be like, no. And then boom, there comes the cacao. There's a little bit of my honey or whatever I got with me. And it's like, dip there, boom. And it's like, here, try that.